How you guys doing today? I'm so happy to be here. I was like so excited all day. Thank you very much for having me. What I'm going to talk about is what's at the heart of change. And I don't know about you, but I've changed. I've changed a little bit, right? Gotten a little older, a little grayer. I became a mom over the past 11 years. And I suppose that we all change, don't we? Haven't we all changed here a little bit? And change is a natural part of life. It's normal. But what I want to talk about today is for business leaders, for people who are leading businesses, organizations, who have a passion, who have a purpose, who are doing something in the world. Change isn't only this natural phenomenon. It's like this constant thing. It's like always on your shoulder. Did you hear about this cool new app? Did you hear that people are doing this at work? Did you hear that this is new? And it's like constant pressure to change. It's ubiquitous. And dare I have any public discourse without mentioning the pandemic, right? There's like period in time that's taught us how much we can change and how essential it is for survival. But what I want to posit today is that, yeah, change is everywhere, change is natural, change is this constant pressure, but change isn't everything. Change is something that happens to something else. It's a change of states. And if you don't know the things that are unchangeable, those things that, what you believe, what defines you, why you exist, if you don't understand those things that are unchangeable, change will take you away. Isn't that what chaos does? It just sweeps things away. So as important as change and being able to change is knowing what doesn't change, because that's what's going to help you stick around. So I'm going to take a little detour from this line of thinking to talk about patterns. And I'm particularly and personally tickled by this because ever since I was in 8th grade, I feel like patterns are everywhere. Like life is all about patterns. You look at the root of a tree and all the little branches, and then you see like an org chart slide, like on a presentation. You know, it's like the same thing. You think about what you have to do to take care of a plant so that it can grow, so that it can blossom. It's exactly what you do to someone you love. You take care of them, you water them, you nurture them. Dare they wilt, right? So it's all about patterns. And particularly for this conversation, there's one pattern that I want to kind of talk about. It's the importance of the center. It's the importance of what's at your core. It's ubiquitous in nature and life. And now I'm going to start clicking through my slides. Anybody play chess here? Chess fan? Okay. You know that no matter what you do, it's who dominates the center who's in control of the game. I personally play racquetball, and I know when I'm on the edge of the court, I'm out. Like it's over for me. So the center is incredibly important. You see the same pattern in life, in natural life, in biology, in an atom, in a cell. You got all of the infinite complexity. Look at all the materials in this room. Look at all of us here. It's all made up of this little kind of dot, this little core protected by this membrane. And then you see that on a macro level. You think about the cosmos, you think about planets, you think about solar systems, you think about galaxies. It's all around this center. Everything's around this center. And even socially, right? Even among us all and the shared behaviors and rules that we have, what's at the center is family, right? Because that anchors you, family and church. And so what's at the center is crucially important because what's at the center is control. Right? It allows you to navigate. It allows you to, take care of the unexpected. What's at the center is definition. In an ocean of similar molecules and cells and whatnot, like, it's what defines who you are, what type of cell you are. It's your place. It anchors you in this constantly changing, whether you're talking about a dynamic marketplace, where you're talking about black space in the universe, whatever it is. The center keeps you in your place. And then finally, the center, like it's who you are. It's your identity. And so when we talk about change, we'll get there. But what's really important is what's at your heart, what's at your core, is what's at the center. And so I've had my business. Next year it'll be 20 years. Could you believe it? Because I look 20, right? I've had my business 20 years. And over the course of 20 years, I always say we're a branding and strategy company. And I tell people we're in the business of ideas. That's what we do, right? But if I had to be generous, and if I had to kind of fit this in here for this conversation, I would say we're also in the business of change. Because customers come to us when they're like, oh, I need to reach my customer, something changing. Could you change my logo? Could you redesign my website? People are on TikTok. Can you get us on TikTok? What about a video? It's just like all this like constant stuff. And everybody will tell you anytime they come at me with all these like kind of requests, it's like, hey, hold on. Forget about that for a second. Why? Why is this important? Who are you? What is this about? What does this matter to you? How is this aligned with what you believe? Because if you just jump at the next quick thing just like that, people will smell it. It'll be cheap. Change is cheap. It's not honest, right? So always back to the center. Oh, I think that's me. Sorry. And so this framework, this importance of the core, to me, is a way of thinking about business, market dynamics, I don't know what bucket you want to put this in, but just if you exist in the world today and you are engaging in doing something in this world that we live in, that's this same importance of the core the same model of like centricity of what's at the center is how I think about change and existing in a very dynamic market. And so when we think about what is at the core, what is at the core? It's what you believe. You can imagine in 20 years my business has changed, right? Like things, have evolved or whatnot. But it has always been about creativity, about strategy, about respect, about diversity, about collaboration. That has never changed. And there's no other decade that can come at me over time that would ever change that. That's what's at your core. Conversely, identity, who you are. I started this conversation talking about I've changed. I've been a mother. Maybe you met me 20 years ago. I always wear heels, but like whatever. What else like changed? It's always been me. It's that will never go away. And then finally, your purpose, why you do things. And with this, I'll jump from the me to the market. Like I'm sure in school we've all talked about Nike. They're like just a big case study. But the nice thing about Nike is that whether you met them, whether you engaged with them 40 years ago, whatever Jordans you have now, you know that Nike is all about performance and helping the athlete perform. Just do it. It's consistent. These grounding values. That's what's at your core. That's what allows you to navigate change. And when you have people saying, oh, let's market. We need to change the way we market. We need to change the way we hire people. You might even change what you put out into the marketplace, how you operate, how you reach your customers. I'm not saying that's not important. You just have to understand that that's at the periphery. The clicking happened. And the periphery is important for a couple of reasons. I talked about the core, everything's at the center, that's what matters. But the periphery is how you engage with your environment. These like little nodes, what's at the center grounds you, but these little nodes is how you connect with your environment. So when your environment's changing, when it's like, oh, we gotta think about how we're gonna hire a new generation of talent. When there's robots that do everything, this disruptive technology, social, economic crisis, changing consumer behaviors, all those things are happening at the periphery. And so it's important to understand them at this context. Dare you start changing what is unchangeable. So this framework to me is this idea of this model, this little kind of bubble that's up here, is an excellent framework for thinking about change because it allows us, dare I say, to do three things. It helps you understand what you can change. It helps you understand how to change. And it helps you understand how to change in a way that's going to ready you for the future, that's going to make you stronger. Okay? So first, what can change? I'm going to segue into like a little personal story. That's my team. Aren't they beautiful? There's like a few of them like right here. And, I have a small team. It's about 10 of us now. Historically started with 2, 4, 6, 8, and it's good. That's how I like it. But it's been growing. But my team and my culture and this culture of respect and collaboration that we have is of essential importance. And so when I hire, I take my time because based on my team size, you're anywhere from 10 to 25% of the mood in the room. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be careful. And so this time, oh, wow. This time around the pandemic, our business was actually growing and I had to hire, but this is really important to me, so I take a lot of time to hire people. I have them meet a team member, then they interview me, then we take them for lunch, then we like test them and all that kind of stuff. And what happened during the pandemic? Aren't we in a talent market right now where it's just so, it's very difficult to hire people? I had maybe like 3 at-bats, candidates that I found that I was so close to bringing in, and right when I brought them in, they're like, see you, I found another job. So what am I going to do? Divorce myself from my values and like not be diligent and thoughtful about hiring people? Am I going to change with the times? So I change with the times a little bit. That's a nice thing about an entrepreneur. You can do that. And I hired some people quickly to respond because I said, I can't lose out. And guess what happened? I had to fire those people right away. I had to let them go. Nice, it's fine, like we just weren't a fit, no big deal. But that's what happens when you divorce from yourself, from your values. And ultimately what I ended up doing was saying, even though I didn't want to do it, I hired an agency, another party, who could give me the diligence that I needed, that care for my culture, and still do it right and still do it in a fast pace. So that's resulted in good things, right? So that's the what. The second thing, how to change. So one thing is figuring out what you can change, but it's important that you do so in a way that represents your values. Because as I said earlier, otherwise it's cheap. Otherwise it can belong to anybody. And it's important that anything that you do in the market and the universe is an extension of what you believe. And so another example, my team and I work with Toyota. We've been working with them for 7 years. And they're all over my website, they're all over my bio. I talk about them all the time, and not because they're the world's largest automaker, world's largest auto manufacturer, but because they're a company that stands by their values. Veronica, who's here in the audience, can attest. Any little thing, we've done annual reports, we've done collateral, we've done brands for them, we've done any little thing that we do for them, they're like, are you aligning it to our values? Is it about the Toyota way? Are you thinking about respect for people and continuous improvement? Those are their values. They do it every single time. So no matter if they're making cars or they're making robots or they're making drones, whatever the heck they're making, it's always going to be an extension of their values. And right now, we just helped them launch this beautiful initiative called Driving Possibilities, where they're helping transform the educational continuum to make sure that every child can realize their dreams. And in doing so, there's a lot of workforce programs, but they're doing it in a way that's them, that's about respect for people, that's about giving everybody the opportunity to succeed, and is about continuous improvement, because we can do better in terms of how we prepare our youth for the future of work. And then finally, change that strengthens. So like these nodes are not only like kind of an extension into the universe and how you interact with your environment, but they're also an opportunity to learn. And take these opportunities and take these challenges as something that could make you stronger and just strengthen your core. And my final example is this amazing company called William Everett. They're a management and technology consulting company. They've been around 10 years. They have like 130 consultants, and they're family owned. They recently hired us to rebrand the company, right? That's the new logo. I think it's beautiful. It's all about power. They're like, WE like built into it. But the business was started not to grow and not to have a lot of consultants. It was started by Ellen Turner, because as a Black woman in the technology consulting space, she went in this business. Number one, she felt alone. Number two, she realized, oh my God, this is an opportunity for me, 6 figures out of college. I wish there was more people like me that grew up where I grew up that knew about this opportunity. And so she made a whole business just for the purposes of giving Black and brown people opportunities in the consulting space. And we are about to launch this brand, and we're about to have a party, and we're so excited. I said, Ellen, we're gonna invite your clients, and we're gonna do this and like launch it. She's like, no, I want it to be all about my team. I want to celebrate them. I want to congratulate them. I want to thank them for what they've done. And it's an example of her using change. Yeah, she changed her logo, but it was in service of her core values. So this is the model for change, right? What you change, how you change that straightens. And I think when you think about things this way, it doesn't allow you to just do this. It also allows you to change more often when you know what you believe in. It allows people to trust you, right? Because if you're just changing all the time, people won't. So you build stronger relationships. And ultimately, it allows you to stand the test of time. And so at the answer at the end of the day of this long talk, what's at the heart of change? It's what lies within. So thank you.